Hey everybody, so today I'm going to be talking about The Dark Knight and why I believe it is one of the greatest movies ever made, full stop. But before I get into my analysis, let me just say that if you haven't seen the movie, bookmark this video, go watch the movie, it's phenomenal, and then come back and watch this video because I'm going to be talking about a ton of spoilers. And so, with that spoiler alert out of the way, let me just say that I think that there is so much to discuss with this movie. I mean, it could literally hours of discussion. I really think there are so many different plot twists, nuances, foreshadowing, great acting performances. Heath Ledger's performance in this movie, one of the greatest performances we have ever seen on screen. It so good. I'm gonna try and keep this fairly concise though, and not talk about all the different nuances. If you would like to see like a real total like hour long deep dive, comment down below that you'd like to see that. But I'm gonna keep this fairly concise. And so what I think really puts this movie not from just a good movie, but a great movie is the different metaphors, the symbolism, the morality that is discussed. I think that encapsulation is what makes this movie so good. And I think that what we have is we have a couple different themes, but one of the more interesting themes is this parallel between the Batman and the Joker. We have these two sides of the same coin, so to speak, because there is the very obvious metaphor with Harvey Dent, who plays a couple different roles in this movie, but one of the roles that he takes is this kind of middle of the road between Batman and the Joker. This person who is walking this fine line, who is looked at as a hero by all of Gotham. He is the hope, the white knight, but we have him become corrupted by the Joker, and we see this obviously with the two faces, and I mean the coins. It's fairly obvious that this is there's some metaphor going on here, and it's beautiful because it's you have this force of good that is Batman, and I mean one of the greatest scenes of the movie is when Batman he is there is the lawyer that knows Batman's identity. He was going to give Batman's identity. The Joker said, "I actually don't want Batman's identity revealed. I want him to be dead in 1 hour or I blow up a hospital." Um, then so like he's about to be killed by a truck that is about to run into the vehicle, and Batman his pulls his car in front of it, blocks the truck, saves the lawyer, and you see this moment where the lawyer gets out of the car and he sees that Bruce Wayne is sitting there and that he's the one that just saved him, and there's this kind of moment that he knows that like I am a total jerk. I was about to sell out Bruce Wayne. I tried to blackmail him. I tried to I just this bad thing, and Bruce Wayne saved him anyway. And then on the flip side, we have the Joker, who is chaos. He is the embodiment of chaos, evil. There's that great moment when he's getting booked, when he's put in jail. They're like he has no fingerprints. He has no his clothes have no tags on them. There's no source. He has no identity. He is no one. He has no name. And it's so interesting that we have the Joker who has no identity basically. And on the flip side, we have Batman, who his identity is the whole movie. The reveal of his identity is something that's brought up countless times. So many interesting parallels. We have the Joker who lives by no rules. He will break every rule. He will have this corrupt everyone. He will, and then you have Batman who has one rule that he will not kill, and he is unwilling to break that rule, even in some pretty difficult circumstances. And I think that that's so beautifully played out in this movie. But we also have this other theme of you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that's talked about very early in the movie. And we see this happen in real time with Harvey, who it essentially takes kind of both of those roles. He lived long enough to see himself become the villain, but he quote unquote died the hero because he died and his persona, his self was used to represent the hero that Gotham needed at the time. But then we have Batman, who kind of takes the opposite. There's so many great parallels. The opposite, but the same journey, where he lives long enough to become the villain in the sense that his persona he becomes the villain, and it's just so great because there's I mean they talk about it early on in the movie that Batman is what Gotham needs. He can be whatever it needs to be. If Gotham needs someone that can come in and take the fall, he can endure. He can take the people are dying. He has to endure that. He has to be this rock that Gotham can rely on that isn't necessarily this heroic figure. Um, and we see the essence of Batman die not really as a hero. He lives to become a villain, and it's Harvey that kind of dies a hero, but not really. But I think that that's so beautifully played out, and it's I mean there's so much foreshadowing for the turn that Harvey's gonna make, and the the constant calling Harvey of the White Knight, and then the kind of interesting parallel of Batman being the Dark Knight. And then we also have the Joker. I mean, Alfred's story about wanting to watch the world burn. I mean, it's a good story, and I think that it does a really good job of kind of showing that the Joker's motivations are chaos. That is all that he wants when he burns the pile of money. That oh my gosh, talk about capturing just not caring. This isn't about the money. This isn't about necessarily killing Batman. This is about chaos. This is about spreading chaos, and he does that. And I think that there are a few moments in the movie where you do have to suspend disbelief, where it's like, how did the Joker do all this? How did he, corrupt these people? How did he do that? It's more about what it represents. It's about that is what the Joker is. He is corruption, and then Batman is the good influence. And it's so fun. The final point I'm going to kind of make is that a lot of times a bad movie, or not a bad movie, but a less interesting movie is one where the good guy, he's gonna win. It's all good. There is a bad guy, but the good guy, that he's gonna win. There's no losses. There's no stakes. There's nothing bad. And then I'll use the example of the most recent Joker movie, where it's kind of the all bad. There's not really a lot of good elements in that movie. It's just kind of bad wins, evil wins in the Joker movie, the most recent one. That's why I think that the Joker is a good movie, but this movie becomes a great movie because we see stakes, there are losses, and good prevails. Good overcomes those obstacles. We have some really, really dark moments in this movie. I mean, just some pretty tough stuff to watch. And good still overcomes, and it's crazy. I mean, you see that all the way up to the final scene with Harvey like having the gun on Gordon's son. Just so hard to watch, having to tell him, believing that he's telling his son that everything's going to be okay when it's not going to be okay. And I mean, Batman stopping him right there, and Harvey dies. But it's just there's so much there. There's so many cool parallels, foreshadowing, symbolism. It's a great movie. I highly recommend watching it and looking at it from this more artistic, looking for these parallels. And I think you'll see a lot of them. There's so many cool quotes. And I just think it's a great movie. And so anyway, if you guys would like to see me talk about this movie in a more structured, long-form way, please comment down below. I would love to do like a long-form deep dive of this movie because I really think that it's really good. But if you enjoyed this, just kind of basically just summary of some of the bigger elements that I like about this movie. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did enjoy that. If you disagreed with anything I said, please leave a comment down below. But other than that, have a great day.